Today we're going to replace the turn signal switch. This is a 66 Caprice, but it's the same on all 65 and 66 model cars. The problem he's having is his inside blinker lights are not working, but the outside ones are. And also the signal switch handle is real loose. If you turn on the signals, the blinker's flashing, and you can hold this one up and it will flash. And the outside lights work, but the inside ones are not. So the signal switch is bad. It has little wires inside of it, and it's just worn out from the age of it. So the first thing we got to do is take this horn ring off with 3 screws here. We're going to take them off with a Phillips screwdriver, and then we got to take the steering wheel off. All right, so I took the 3 screws out there, and underneath there is this. And if you look, there's a spot where this horn button has been contacting this plate. This is what makes the horn blow. Contacts against that brass piece right there. When you put it back together, we got to make sure that it goes back in the same spot. Now we're just going to take this bolt loose. I'm going to also take this cover off the bottom here. It's got 2 screws, 1 on each side, because we're going to have to be able to get to the wire that runs down through there. All right, so we took the nut off here. The steering wheel's on there tight. You have to have a steering wheel puller. I also took the cover off the bottom. Now we can see the wires that run down through there, and they're attached to the column here somewhere, and we got to take off a bolt or something. We'll see in a minute. All right, so I got the steering wheel puller on there. Put the 2 bolts into the steering wheel. Put this up against the steering wheel bolt, the big bolt. And then we're just going to turn this with the socket, and it'll pull right off. All right, so we just tightened the bolt that's in the middle of the steering wheel puller, and this pops right off. It's usually not hard to come off. Now we got to take a Phillips head and loosen this up and take this out. So it's just 1 screw holds the signal switch arm on, and there's 3 screws that hold the actual switch in place. 1 on the top and bottom, and 1 that's through this hole right here. The same screws that hold the switch on holds this collar on also. So we're going to take that screw out, and that takes the screw out for the clamp. But we're also going to have to take this bracket that holds the steering column in place off, because the clamp's trapped under it. So we have to take out these 2 bolts right here and right here. So it takes a 9/16 socket to fit that. And we just got to take these 2 loose, and then it's just as simple as unplugging the plug and doing everything back in reverse. So he's taking those 2 bolts off that holds the column on. It's just a U-shaped bracket that holds the column up. The only reason we're taking that off so we can get the wire out from under the bracket. It's really simple. You can see already the wires coming out. So now I just unplug the connectors at the bottom of the, they pull straight out.
Should have a little clip on one side.
And that's how easy it is. And now we're going to pull this out from the top part. We have to feed the cables back through.
Plug.
So what he's doing, you ain't gonna feel it.
Where's it at?
You see the round hole there in the side of that?
Oh, you talking about this
Yes,
plastic
like
piece has to
that.
come off?
Yes, that's all. You're gonna stick that in there and pull up, and then it pops out of the... All right, so we took the plastic piece out, and we ended up ripping ours. They're not really meant to be taken out, I don't think. But we took it out, and now we're pulling the connector back through this collar. We got the new one that's going to feed right back down in there the same way that one pulled out. And the hole in the collar is shaped for the connector to go through.
You gotta come in sideways with it to get it in there.
Yeah. And then we're going to feed it right back down through in the same path. And this goes back up, and what we'll do is line up the
all back together. What you had to do.
Let's screw this back together before we tighten. So let's look at this real quick. All right, so this piece goes down on here and you turn it and it locks in. You slide it on, turn it, and it locks into place. Now we're gonna put the we're gonna put the signal switch down on there. So you're just putting the 3 bolts back in. They screw into the collar. Like I said, you turn the collar till you get it in the right place. All right, so we got the switch mounted back in. Now we got to put the new lever on. We got the handle on there. We're gonna run the wire down through here. You gotta make sure nothing's twisted in here. We're gonna put this little cover back on. That tightens holds the wire down. So we've got the bracket that holds the steering column back on now, tightened back up. This is back up. Now all we got to do is put the cover back on that goes on the bottom of the steering column. It has the 2 small Phillips head screws that hold it on. All right, so we got the new signal switch in. We got the steering wheel back together. The signal switch works and it stays on its own. The left-hand one still does not blink on the inside, so we know we got a problem with either the bulb or the socket or the little connector that connects to the circuit board. But either way, the signal switch problem was fixed, and before you had to hold it up to make this inside one work. So we thought we had the same problem on both sides, but apparently not. But anyway, that's the install. It'll take about an hour to do, assuming nothing goes wrong.